Hello Vault Dwellers, and welcome back for another Fallout Cookbook cooking video. Today we're going to be making the Mole Rat Manicotti from the Fallout Cookbook. The ingredients that we are going to need are 2 ounces or 25 grams of fresh basil, 1/3 cup of grated parmesan cheese, 1 cup of grated fontina cheese, 2 cups of shredded mozzarella cheese, 1 tablespoon of dried oregano, and a little over 1 tablespoon of fresh parsley. We're going to need 1/4 cup of pine nuts, 6 garlic cloves, 1/2 cup of cream cheese, 1/2 cup of goat cheese, 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter, 1/4 cup of olive oil, 1/4 cup of heavy cream, 4 cups of prepared marinara. I got up early and made this one earlier this morning, so this is nice and fresh. We are going to need 3½ cups of ricotta cheese, as well as 3 Italian sausage links, and these were the mild links that I removed from the casings and browned up, and then once I was done with that, I gave it a rough chop. So these are all ready to go. And we're also going to need 1 box of manicotti noodles. And I believe there are 14 of them in the box, which is exactly what the recipe calls for. And the last thing we need is some salt and pepper. So I think we are all ready to get started. So I'm going to get a few of these things out of my way, and we'll move over to the food processor. Alright guys, in the bowl of our food processor, we're going to go ahead and drop in our basil, as well as our 6 cloves of garlic, and our pine nuts, and the Parmesan cheese. And I believe what we are making here is a pesto, a traditional pesto. Let me get the lid on there. And now all we want to do is chop this up. Guys, I have everything well chopped up. And now what I'm going to do is slowly start drizzling in the olive oil until I get it all incorporated in. And you want to do this kind of slowly in a steady stream. Alright guys, our pesto is coming together very nicely. Let me grab that. Make sure you scrape down the edges. Oh, it smells really good too. Alright, next thing I'm going to add in is our goat cheese. I'm just going to plop that all in there. As well as I'm going to add in the 3½ cups of our ricotta. Alright, I have got our 3½ cups of ricotta in the bowl. And now all we're going to do is go ahead and process until this is all well combined. Alright guys, let's get this transferred into our bowl here so we can continue mixing the rest of the ingredients. Alright guys, I have it all transferred into the bowl, and the last 2 things we need to add into this are our oregano and parsley. And our cooked sausage. And this is going to be the filling for our manicotti. There we go. And let me just give this a stir, and then we're going to taste this and see how much salt it's going to need. So I'm going to go ahead and add in some black pepper. And now I'm going to go ahead and add in my salt. And I'm going to give it a pretty good hefty pinch because I think it needs it. There we go. Let's get this stirred in, and then we're going to give it a taste and see what we think about it. And see if it needs any more salt. It's actually pretty good. It does need another little pinch of salt though. There we go. Alright, let's give it another try, see if we're happy with the salt level now. Much better. Oh, this is really good. The fresh herbs really brighten it up. It's really delicious. I'm very excited for this dish. Alright guys, next thing we need to do is move over to the stove and get our sauce put together. So I will meet you over there. Alright guys, we are over at my stove, and I've already gone ahead and started melting the butter. And the next thing I'm going to add in is our cream cheese. And we're going to start getting this softened up. Alright guys, all we need to do with this now is keep stirring it until it starts mixing in with the butter. And we want this to warm up so that it'll mix in well with our sauce. So while I'm waiting for that to happen, I would like to remind you guys of the Gamers and Geeks playlist that JPickADeath and I have going on our channels. If you would like to be a part of it, it's really easy. All you have to do is go out and make a cooking video and then post it to your channel. And once you've done that, let either JPick or I know, either in the comment section of our latest cooking videos, or if you're a part of our Discord servers, you can let us know over there. And we will be more than happy to come over and check out your videos and get them added to the playlist. Alright guys, I think this is looking pretty good. I don't think it can get any warmer than that. So all I'm going to do is pour in half of my marinara now. There we go. And I'm going to stir this in until the cream cheese is well mixed in, which happened really quickly. The next thing I'm going to do is add in my heavy cream. And while I'm stirring that in, I'm going to add in my fontina cheese. And you want to do this a little bit on the slow side. You don't want to just dump it all in at one time. It will kind of gloop up right in the middle, and you'll have a big ball of cheese there. We want it to melt in. So I'll just put in a little bit at a time. Alright guys, I'm just stirring in the last of my fontina cheese. And as soon as this is totally melted in, I'm going to add in the remainder of our sauce. And I think that looks pretty good. So let's get the rest of our sauce in. And now all we need to do is stir this and then check it for seasoning. We're going to go ahead and check it for seasoning now. That's pretty good. Does need a little bit more pepper. And it does need a good pinch of salt. There we go. Okay, I'm going to check it one more time just to make sure I'm happy with it. Much better. Now all we need to do is reduce our heat to low, cover this, and allow it to simmer for 10 minutes. So I will see you guys when that step is done. Alright guys, it is finally time to assemble our manicotti. Now before I had started the video, I had gone ahead and cooked off my manicotti noodles. And I cooked them according to the package directions. And I've simply been allowing them to cool here on my sheet tray lined with a little bit of plastic wrap until we were ready for them. So we are finally at that step. Now the first thing we're going to do is bring in a 9 by 13 inch pan, and I'm going to go ahead and put about a cup of sauce down on the bottom of it, and I'm going to spread this around. I'm going to give it one more little bob there of sauce. I think that looks pretty good. You want to make sure you get it well spread out so our manicotti doesn't stick and burn on the bottom. There we go. So now we can move our sauce out of the way until we're ready for it. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in my filling here. And now what we need to do is get our manicotti noodles filled up. And the easiest way I have found to do that is to put your filling in a plastic bag and then cut the tips off and just kind of pipe it in. Although the filling I normally make is a little bit stiffer than this. So this is going to be interesting. And I just put my bag down in a cup to kind of help keep it contained until I've got it filled to the amount that I want. Alright guys, I've got about half of the filling in this bag. And I kind of want to get it to all flow down into that bottom corner. Let me move my cup out. And the cup I was just using to kind of contain my filling. And we're going to kind of use this as like a pastry bag. So now all I need to do, and you guys cannot see a thing, can you? There we go. All I'm going to do now is trim off the bottom edge of my bag and bring my noodles in. Alright guys, we are finally ready to fill our manicotti. So you just kind of want to let it fall in there without coming out the other end. And you can kind of see it when you're doing it. You can't, I don't think you can see it now, but if you watch, you can sort of see your filling slowly filling up your noodle until it starts coming out the other end. And again, this is a much looser filling than what I'm used to working with. I'm just going to bring it over to my pan here, top off the other end, and place it down in our sauce. And I will show you that one more time here. Here we go. So we've got our noodle, and I'm going to slowly start filling this. You do want to make sure you get it into the center. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll fill it from one end and then turn it around and fill it from the other. It just depends. But there we go. That is well filled, and that is going to go in our pan as well. Now I'm going to continue getting these all filled, and then I will bring you back and I'll show you how we're going to finish this dish off. And one other note, if you don't want to use a bag, you can certainly do this with a spoon. It's just a little bit harder and a little bit more time consuming, but easily done. Alright guys, I will see you here in a bit. Alright guys, I've got these all filled, and I do have quite a bit of filling left. So I think if I make this again, I'm definitely going to increase the amount of noodles that I use just to accommodate all of that filling. But for now, all we need to do is go ahead and pour the remainder of our sauce right over the top of our noodles until they are all covered. Alright guys, that's all we have. So let's go ahead and just spread our sauce over the top until the noodles are all covered with it. There we go. That looks really good. And the last thing I'm going to do is just top it with our 2 cups of mozzarella cheese. I have had my oven preheating to 350 degrees, which we are going to put this in our oven and bake it for 35 to 45 minutes until the cheese is all melted and bubbly. So that looks very good to me. I'm going to move it over into our oven, and I'll bring you back once it's finished. Alright guys, our Mole Rat Manicotti is out of the oven, and I allowed it to cool for about 15 minutes before I tried to take it out of the pan. It smells really good. Let's get in here and give it a taste, see what we think about it. So guys, I really do like this dish. I like the fresh herbs that we added into the filling, and I do like the sauce with the addition of the cream cheese. It's very subtle. You can barely tell it's there, but it does add a richness to the sauce that wasn't there before. Would I make this dish again? Absolutely I will. But I think instead of doing it as a manicotti, I'll probably go ahead and make it as a lasagna, just because of the amount of extra filling that I had. I think these flavors would lend really well to a lasagna. So there you guys have it, the Mole Rat Manicotti from the Fallout Cookbook. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a comment down below. Remember to check out the Gamers and Geeks playlist. I will leave a link to it down in the description. But as always, thank you so very much for joining me today. I've been Vault Girl. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.